So, welcome to day 46. 46. Last couple days we've been discussing the uh, the concept of the one thing, and today we're going to introduce the keys. The keys are basically a series of actions that will support the one thing. So, um, once again, we're going to review uh, the one thing and what we're going to be supporting, right? So what we want to do is we want to take an item that is not urgent but important, and we want to have the freedom to take that into the urgent area by choice, not that we're chasing fires and reacting to a urgent situation that was dictated as urgent by something or some other event. Right? So the second thing is we want to choose the one thing that supports our challenge outcome. Right? We want to pick one thing that, if done, will accomplish our challenge outcome. We want to make sure that they're related and correlated, and that it in fact supports that. So we want to, once we identify the one thing that we want to accomplish, there's a follow up to that. And as we mentioned earlier, will that one thing push me towards the challenge outcome? And once again, the challenge outcome is set up in your general's tent early on and every week. Once we've created the power through the core forward and the foundation and so on, we want to give that some specific direction, and that is exactly what the one thing is. It's a target rather than a goal, right? It's something more specific than a goal. It's actually a an element that is much more precise, right? A target, a sniper mark, is much more targeted than a goal, right? So once again, we come to the question is actually the introduction to the keys is how will I accomplish that one thing, right? We've gone through the process of choosing the one thing that will support a goal, the one thing that once we choose will make the other items easier or not even required, right? So in follow up to that, what we have is the one thing. And this is where we introduce the four keys. Now these aren't going to be, they're going to be specific and they're going to be related, right? They're going to be related to the one thing and they're going to support the one thing. So this is an action step. While we've chosen the one thing, we have four steps to accomplish the one thing, right? They're not going to be unrelated. They're not going to be random. They're not just going to be a thing to do on the to-do list, right? It's going to be a strategic items um, that will fall in sequence, right? I will accomplish this, and it will bring me to a point where I can do this. And it's basically steps, right? Where the one thing may be 6 feet off the ground, but what we're going to do is we're going to break this down into four steps to get there. And without that, it's basically like a running into a wall, I guess, right? You know, we have a 6 foot wall, and we can run into it unless we create steps or a series of steps to get there. And again, they're not random. They're not, oh, we're going to do a 3 foot step and then we're going to do a 1 foot step. They have to be in sequence and support a systematic way of accomplishing the one thing. Well, we're not going to get into specifics what those might be because we haven't specifically chosen what the one thing is yet. Once you've chosen the one thing, and that is the first step, right, is to create the one thing that you elect to become urgent in that week, right? And then you support it by a a, a series of events or a series of actions that will guarantee that that one thing is accomplished. And again, it's not random; it's strategic, right? It's a series of a step that is this, which will create access to the next step, which will create access to the next step, which will create access to the next step, which makes the one thing one step beyond, right? So it's again, that's probably a good scenario to look at. That is basically a ladder um, type effect, and we build on. We take these steps in sequence to accomplish the one thing. Once again, your assignment is going to be to teach this. If you can't teach it, you don't know it. If you don't know it, you can't live it. And address the other assignments at the bottom of this page. We'll see you tomorrow.